Hey guys, how's it going? Azoh here, welcome back to Unranked Master. Today we will be reviewing a Varus versus Ahri game. This was a game I blind picked Varus in mid, and I do believe it was because Zeb was banned and I felt like going something AD, though I can't actually recall. I think I just first picked it because I wanted to play Varus. And Varus has been a champion I've been playing for quite some time. I'm a bit rusty currently at him, but, and of course you'll probably see that as I play. But I still think I managed okay on him. Now, when you're playing against Ahri and Shaco jungle, it is not very favorable for you. Varus can manage assassins, but in general he does pretty bad against them. Against melee assassins he can keep them at bay with poking, and when he has ultimate he can stall and burst essentially. But against mobile ranged assassins it's a bit more tricky. I think LeBlanc really shuts him down. But again, you can outrange them with your Q obviously, and you can push pretty hard, and in general, as long as you get to your spikes, you do fairly well. I think I acknowledged verbally on stream that it is bad to play too aggressively when they have Shaco, for obvious reasons. And I do acknowledge that, I do follow that relatively well, I'd say, but I do screw up big time, and you'll see when it happens. In general, though, I try to keep the lanes relatively stable. You can see me here pushing. That's because I wanted to, at the start of many lanes, I kind of want to see how the enemy's going to play. And it's really hard to judge because our MMR is really weird right now. We're playing as Diamond 3, I think, Diamond 4. And it's hard to get a feel for your opponent first. So I'm just trying to feel out how she plays and by pushing out and seeing how she manages under turret, but also if she wants to push and kind of get an idea of her playstyle. And of course you want to try to get both poke with the Q and last it at the same time. It's fairly standard with any champion. Here I'm playing very defensively because I know that the cannon can tank it, but I'm also kind of afraid of a gank around the level 3 time, especially with that charm, the kind of desperation charm. You can kind of expect that there's going to be a gank, but usually when you hit level 3, Shaco's going to be around. If you want an estimate, not specifically level 3, you can expect it around the cannon wave is when Shaco normally ganks. I'm not a Shaco player, so I don't exactly know. Just in my experience in mid lane, that's when he usually ganks me at least. So this was a pretty bad Q. I end up getting like half of these CS. And since I didn't take E level 3, I think maxing on Varus is a bit tricky. Or not tricky, but I think I might have done it incorrectly because he does really well with, since I'm doing Crafting Flask plus Deathfire Touch, he does really well with his E early game. Rather, you can use it a bit more than you'd expect. So I think I'm playing a little bit too safe when I have the Flask. I should rather be doing some more poking. Not sure if that was worth an E. And kind of just stay in neutral range from her Q. We still don't have any vision on Shaco again, so should stay relatively safe, but I should probably start trading a little bit more right now, because I do win trades in the end, because I have the Crafting Flask. So, and we have 2 stacks on it left. So here, I guess, not sure if I'd agree with that Q actually. I would have gotten that CS, because it wouldn't have gone into wave anyway, went into turret anyway, so that's a bad hit on my part. And that's a bad Q. And here was just really bad on my part. I really thought that Rek'Sai was going to flash and follow. Had Rek'Sai flashed and follow, we would have gotten the kill for sure. Or very likely we would have gotten the kill, I'd say. It's not 100% certain. But she had already used her charm, and she'd already used her flash. And the only thing she had was her Q. So I think even with the moon speed, I think she was in a bad spot. It's a really bad Q. I think in general, if you're gonna do a predicted spell, I think you should try to focus on at least having the edge of it still be in. I expected because of the ping. I thought he was going to be there, and he was. Always be careful for that Shaco, I guess. So when you try to use an arrow to predict, you should try to have the edge still hit them, even though you're aiming towards the place where you think they're going to be, because if they stand still, they still get hit, so you force them to at least move somewhere. But it does give less room. If they start moving earlier, it's harder to hit, so it's a balancing, it's a balance act. You have to think about that. Here I'm a bit too greedy with my last hits, and I should, since I'm low of mana, I should really start being a little bit afraid of her ultimates, because even though she doesn't have flash, that's a bad cue. Now I'm completely out of mana. Since she doesn't have flash, it's uncertain. Since she didn't have flash, I was playing a little bit too greedy, but even with just her ultimate, she can do so much. Especially since I didn't have any mana for my ultimate. So I end up picking up Maw, or rather Hexdrinker first. I think I decided that I didn't want to go the full way into Maw, and in hindsight I think Hexdrinker is a great item, but probably not what you should be rushing like this. And it's strange, because you'll see me screwing up rather soon, and well, the Hexdrinker, you know, it does help, it definitely does, but with the playstyle I have, I'm not sure if even the Hexdrinker can save it with how greedy I get. And you could argue that I would have played less greedy if I hadn't gotten Hexdrinker, but it's still hard to say. So I end up taking Wraiths because I pushed out, and I interrupted my own out attack. That was pretty bad. And also greeded out a little bit. If I'd let it be 3 stacks, I could have cleared that a little bit faster. So if I let it be 3 stacks when I used Q and when I used E, I would have taken a little bit more damage, but I would have cleared the entire thing faster. And thus probably taking less damage, because I wouldn't have taken damage from the big one. So here is just a little bit too far out. I tried to do to where I stood by my minions, but I didn't properly stand behind them, so I still got hit by everything, and I cleansed before Ignite was on me, and honestly, I wasn't gonna get away with cleanse anyway. When the charm hit, I think I should have just accepted my death. But it was a screw up. I was a little bit too far out of position. We can take a look at that again, actually. I forgot someone told me how to fast scroll through. So here, since I'm at, what, 80, 75% HP, this far out, when the big space to my right is open, is very greedy. And you can see that she follows in on that immediately. And here I tried to go behind the caster minion. As you can see my pathing, I start moving downwards instead. So I should clearly have pathed upwards instead. But she would have ulted upwards and probably still gotten me. But it's still a screw up. And I think the biggest screw up was the positioning and wasting cleanse before she'd used ignites. And in general, just wasting cleanse because I couldn't have survived that anyway. I should definitely pick up a pink ward here though. So we're starting out in a pretty bad position because we don't have tier, so we're not scaling, and we're not getting into mid-game properly. And we're dying even though we bought the Hexdrinker, so that's pretty bad. We're not that great of a position right now. We're almost even in farm, we're a little bit behind. But yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. We still, the interesting part is we still have a chance to kill her, because it's still, you know, as long as we don't get too close to her, or rather, as long as we don't misposition the way we did before, and greed too much for minions and for farm, and for poke in general, it should still be fine. And that's because she bought, she didn't buy CDR, or she didn't rush CDR as much as, well, I mean, you can only rush CDR so much, I suppose. She doesn't have as much enough CDR yet that her ultimate will be up. I don't quite exactly remember what items she had here, but I think that was how I was arguing that even with the CDR she has, she shouldn't have ultimate up immediately. That's a really bad E, actually, because we're shoving when I don't want to shove, and we miss the CS. Now they're pinging that Shaco's here, so yeah, there. We hit the... You saw the Deathfire Touch hitting twice. I was actually just going for defensive poke. I didn't realize he was there until I saw it twice. So here, I could freeze here, and I think, in hindsight, I think I should have frozen here. But it's fine, we're getting a lot of damage. She's actually within kill range right now. And I think I realized that relatively soon. I just gotta save my mana a little bit so I have enough. Just occasionally glance at your mana so you know if you have enough for your entire burst. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm calculating how many spells I can use. So it's 80 plus 85 plus 100. So it's, you know, 265. It's I don't quite have it right now. So I think I should be doing a Corrupting Flask relatively soon to get back the mana so I can do it. Definitely should use one now, because she's close to getting killed right here. And I did use one there, which was very good. timing the corrupting flask with when you're gonna hit your DFT is very, very proper. Very, very proper. Please don't hate no good English. So I'm at 100 mana right now. I should definitely pot up so I can set up a kill soon. I think I'm delaying it a little bit too much, but if we do end up getting blue, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna have enough mana anyway, so pick up a blue. Thank you very much, Rank Sai. Make sure to thank your jungler so that he gives you blue again. That's what Sky taught me. Just clear wave and hope that she'll stay. It's possible, but probably... Yeah, okay, never mind, she stays. She's a bit greedy too. I think she got a little bit overconfident, and here I screw up. And then get saved by... And then that. It's a roller coaster of emotions, farming under turret. But if I hit one more Q, she should be within kill range, especially since the... and it's going to be extra deadly because I have blue, so I can pretty much spam it. And the CD is shorter, so... There we go. She is definitely within kill range right now. And I don't even think I'd have to flash for it. Here, she should be dead. I should be going aggressive. Even if I miss my Qs like that, I should really, because, you know, it's really hard to miss someone who's ulted. I think I realized that really soon. Here we go. She mispositioned and paid for it quickly with her life. So let's take a look at that again. She did the same mistake I did. It's just really greedy positioning here. She wants to clear all the minions. And when... This is the point where I realized that she's gonna die, because when she wants to clear all the minions, this is vertical is gonna relate to this, but when the ranged minions get to like 1 HP, it's really hard for Ahri players not to just walk forward and auto-attack them, and the only way for her to walk forward and auto-attack them properly is through, is below the melee minions. So, yeah, she's in a bad spot there. But hey, she did get one of the ranged minions, so she's got that going for her. But yeah, we just burst as quickly as possible. You could have done a more damage efficient combo, but the important part there was just that she didn't survive out of the snare. And, well, she didn't. She was able to do half a jump and died in it. And we're now ahead in CS and going to shove and then go back for tier, I think. So we saw them get dragon there. We saw the animation, and of course in-game I heard that they got dragon. And, well, if you want even more evidence, you can see it in the chat. And then Shaco appears in mid because we started going backwards, because we should have been expecting some kind of jungler or bot lane or anything at all to be around mid lane. Here I, once again, greed a little bit. Greed is biggest part of my videos, I think, by not getting boots. But, you know, it's probably decent. I think too early of a mana moon kind of sets you back a little bit, but it's really, it really helps the scaling for Varus, makes it much quicker for obvious reasons, because he doesn't use spells as often, and when he does use them, they take a lot of mana compared to like something like an Ezreal or a Rice. So using auto attacks to stack it helps a lot. So if you can get it as quick as possible, it helps the spike for Mana Muna. Where Mana, I never forget which one is, I never remember which one is which. So we clear, well, that is some horrible farm. Try to get both, end up getting all three. And at this point, I think I should just place my ward. This is where I want to make sure that she's not roaming, because since I don't have boots, I placed this ward here just to see that she's not in brush. Since I don't have boots, and because she's an assassin, she roams much better than me. And while this game is really... Oh yeah, here's another mistake. Walking there made sure that I had to almost lose a couple of CS, because I could not go into the lane from that angle, or it would have been the same situation as the one time I died. So I cleared this, that was really bad. Got a little bit too greedy once again. Or rather, not even greedy, just stressed. I wanted to clear it as quickly as possible. Pretty weak arrow, but I have corrupting flasks, so it's not that hard punished. I think this is where she starts switching up her dodge pattern, and I start aiming like really, really poorly. And we should still be careful, because I'm still close to being out of position. And this pink ward helped a lot, because you can see that she's moving. Ping it, make sure to always ping 3,000 times, and also follow if you can. Since they're already moving, I suppose it was fine, but he does get hit by charm. Though they're really undermanned, so it didn't really matter. Here I end up picking Thresh. And Gianna saved Ahri a little bit. She flashes, and I hit the, of course, that was planned ultimate. Why would that not be planned? Obviously. And then we get a couple of kills. We have 2 AD carries here and a Lulu, and with the attack speed buffs to Lulu, or her spell that gives her attack speed, it's really easy to clear this turret very quickly, even though I don't have much attack speed. And without my passive, I suppose my attack speed is pretty low, but, you know, Varus' passive does help a lot with clearing turrets and such. Here you see that their blue is up in 15 seconds, but I think I don't end up going for it. I just want to end up shoving. I just end up not shoving, actually, because... There we go. I guess I'll just poke him with my arrows. Don't do that in bars. So we shove. And once again, screw up farming. I have promised not to talk about how much farm I miss. I promised to do it. I will try. I'll try to not focus too much on it. Clear this. Probably not sure if I should have used my E, but you know, I have enough mana for a Q, so it's probably fine. And I actually walk to the other side here to clear this, so I get full damage on my Q on the big one. You know, not that big. It possibly would have been faster just to Q through the small one, because we wouldn't have to walk. But, you know, you practice your orb movements. It's not that, orb walk, it's not that bad. At this point, it's getting kind of ridiculous how far I'm postponing my boots. But this is when you see that I'm a Zed player, and you can really see the tendencies of delaying boots far too long. And it's because Zed can get away with not getting boots, or rather not getting upgraded boots. He can definitely get away with it for a long time. Varus cannot. It's not as bad as not getting boots on TF, but it's still pretty bad. So we're trying to set up some kind of fight, and end up clearing. And now we just do what Varus is really good at, sieging and poking. You know, Varus is pretty well for bursting in lane 2. It's just a bit tricky versus double assassin, I suppose. So here we should try for some kind of fight. Yeah, we will be able to get kills here fairly easily. I just don't want to go too close to Ahri again. This ward we had in the brush right, to the right of me. To my right? Yeah, that's what you say, to my right. Helped me see that Ahri was coming that way, because I wasn't actually aware of where she was at the time. So we shove. And just the threat on my Qs can keep people away from wanting to contest. And we end up getting a... What kind of dragon is that? Could that be an Earth Dragon? Let's see if we can pick it up. We should have all the pressure we need. So we have wards to see where they are. We have poke to keep them away from it. Just need people to start the dragon. And here I position terribly bad. Look at this. This positioning is dead. If Ahri had gone in, I would have died. She should have killed me right there. I don't know why she didn't want to go in, but... I mean, when I get to this position, it's very good. But before that, oh... That is a bad arrow. I was able to somehow miss... It was impossible to miss that, but I somehow managed to find the one spot where it wouldn't hit. But yeah, my positioning there was really bad because I set myself up for dying, essentially, very quickly to Ahri. But since she didn't kill me, I had a safe positioning. Here, I actually end up not cleansing because they don't have any follow-up. Had Ahri ulted in, I would have cleansed, but had that happened, I had a Janna and a Lulu top who could have helped me, so I'm not too scared about it. And here we see one of the greatest jukes in mankind. He places a trap, he goes into Fog of War, and then he dies. Yep, so that happened. we are in a very good position right now. I will be able to get boots and possibly Maw. I'm not exactly sure what I end up getting. I think I just, yeah, I think Maw is proper right here because they have a Karma top. Now, Lucidity boots, not entirely sure if, well, actually, I think Lucidity boots are fine. I think I could have gotten away with getting Swifties or something similar, but no, in hindsight, I think Lucidity boots are great. I'm gonna get Black Cleaver later on, probably, and Black Cleaver is arguably actually really bad this game. I only wanted to get it because of the survivability and because of the armor shred. You know, it adds up. Having the constant 40% CDR is also beneficial, and you know, just the extra small amount of HP, it really does help in the long run. Clear this, get blue, and we should really set up a siege right now. But we'll see. You know, it's still ranked, it's still solo queue. You know, we should expect people to kind of want to farm and not really press an advantage. It's all too common, and even in high-low, just not pressing an advantage. It's really bad, but it happens. So, we end up shoving, I think, soon? I think we might delay this far too long. And here, of course, I'm a little bit scared of Ahri, but my arrows are starting to deal some damage. I still don't have Muramana, so I still don't deal that much damage, but you know, it adds up eventually. Should not be greeting for minions because Ahri and I both learned our lesson with that. Just some blind arrows, considering I have blue and, well, I only have 20% CDR because I don't have Yomus yet. So I'm missing out on a lot of damage from there. I'm not using Cleanse because they don't have any follow-up. Even if Thresh goes in and all that, they just don't have anything to follow the hook up with, so there's no risk. Here I should be ready. I did ult here because I was afraid of the engage on Janna, which, when I say it out loud, them engaging on Janna, it sounds really stupid, but I was just afraid of a too hard of a follow-up, and we did end up getting a pick because of it, which resulted in turrets, so it was fine. It just makes our team fighting a little bit less strong. So that's a bit of a bad dodge. I think I lost out on one auto attack because of it. I keep missing Jinx here. Again and again, I just keep missing Jinx so many times. And here, I did cleanse this time, and that's because the charm that Ahri hit me with, it was obviously bad positioning to even be close to the wall when I didn't see her. The charm that Ahri hit me with made my character try to walk around the wall, which of course is not very good because even if they don't have any CC follow-up, they could have easily bursted on me. And even if I said before that I have Lulu and Janna, I'm still a little bit afraid of that hard burst, even with Maw, which, I mean, did end up getting triggered as well. So, we still keep trying for a siege, but I keep not being close enough to auto-attack turret, and that's because I'm really afraid of the follow-up from Thresh Ahri. They have a lot of CC that can catch me, and as I say that, I go kind of balls deep here. Or rather, not balls deep, but I overstay, rather, for way too long. Which is not great. Just poke her with my arrow again. And clear. And I think I end up getting a Dirk for my Yomos. That's what I get right now, I think. Next dragon should be up very soon, yes. I think it's an ocean. And you know, from this point on, it's a bit more tricky when you're playing a poke mage, or rather a poke AD caster, like Varus, or I don't even know what to classify him as, a poke AD carry mid laner? I'm not sure. I guess a poke marksman? It's a bit more tricky to play that and hard carry than, say... well, no, I don't want to say it's harder to hard carry with. I think it's harder to pick up the game and drag it, because you still need team fights, and I mean you can completely decimate team fights with the Varus, and completely control the game from that point on. It's just I suppose it's just because I'm more used to assassins in general. Like LeBlanc still needs some kind of team fighting because you want an opportunity to to take out their key targets and just win the fight from that. But it's still, I feel like you have more control. And that's also because you can walk in enemy territory much more. Of course, these are things that Varus can do also, but it's a bit more risky because you don't have an escape. So, still not an excuse. I think I delayed too much with just doing stuff. Dragons are good in this meta, but they're not as good as... They're not... I don't know. It's hard to say. They do add up for the Elder Dragon, but I think like getting an Ocean Dragon isn't really going to change. It's hard to say. It does add up. It's a nice benefit. And definitely on Varus, having that extra mana is really nice. Or that just regen in general. Since I don't get any lifesteal until I think my last item is lifesteal. It depends on the game. They peeled a little bit for our Nasher. It was very nice of them. I'm going to pick up blue. And... Yep, we should recall here and regroup. I can get another Warhammer. Or I can just save a lot of money and get my Yomas in one go. See what I end up doing. I think I am actually going for that instant Yomas. I cannot remember what I'd end up doing. I can't sell my... Now that we have Ocean and we have Baron and I have Blue and all that stuff. Now that we're in late game 2, Sunrise, I can end up selling my Corrupting Potion, even though it still helps a lot. The active is just very, very nice. I mean, there's no passive of it, but the regeneration is just very nice. And I end up actually not recalling at all. So clear, I hope, or we're just gonna siege from their wall, which is, again, not that huge of a fan of it. Of course, Varus does well with it, but when we don't have vision, it's kind of tricky, and they clear... Well, there we go. I'm ready with Cleanse here, but I don't think I end up doing it because I just have a Janna and a Lulu, so I'm not too afraid of it. It's a weak arrow, and again, as we were talking about before, I do have Corrupting Flask and I have Ocean Dragon. That's not going to kill him, even with Corrupting Flask and Deathfire Touch. It's not going to kill him, unfortunately. Take inhibitor, and now everyone's going like, we can take mid. Never mind. I realize we don't have any waves, or either going to recall as Lulu did, or we're going to shove mid. And I think we just shove mid and not follow with it. We just push. We don't push mid. We shove mid, and then just recall everyone because, well, we have a lot of gold. I have Yomas, and I think everyone else has a lot of gold to spend in general, but. We ended up being 3v5 here, so I don't think it's great to stay, but since they do a great arrow engage from Ash, ended up working pretty well. And at this point, I think people have realized that Shaco has left the game, so the game is not really active anymore. It's kind of over at this point. So we shove, and we go for the end. I actually end up not getting my Yomas this game, unfortunately. But what does it matter in the end? That was just BM, obviously. I didn't even want to hit that. Just, you know, just for the BM. Right. Okay. So, I'm going to take a look at my damage on this game. I think I end up showing it on stream. Guess we'll see soon. We're currently Platinum 183 LP, right? So they are kind of angry. We'll end up having decent damage dealt. I think we had both most damage dealt to champions and most damage dealt. Actually, not overall, did we? We still had, yeah, we had the most damage dealt overall. Never mind. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Okay, peace.